Welcome to the weekly close live here on the Passive Income Podcast. Joseph, welcome back after your 1 week hiatus away. You were in San Francisco last week. How was San Francisco?
But I gotta say, first time there, absolutely beautiful city. It's quite a bit of a shake from what I'm used to. Uh, I've learned that big city life is not for me, but
Yeah, me neither, man.
would definitely highly recommend anybody out there listening go check it out at least once. A lot of sights, a lot to see, a lot of cool stuff.
Yeah, San Fran definitely is a bucket list type of city to visit for sure. And
And
then, oh, sorry,
I,
go ahead.
I was gonna say I got to shout out Stripe, the payment company, for inviting us out. Only reason I got to go.
Right. And when you say us, that's the marketplace team that went out
Yes.
to meet Stripe in San Fran last
Yeah,
week. So,
yeah, exactly. Marketplace went out to Stripe Sessions 2024 last week. Their yearly conference.
and being the traveler that you are, where are you this week?
This week, I am visiting my parents in Orange Beach, Alabama.
Alabama.
Which also, anybody at home, I'm a little more biased since I was raised here. Highly recommend. Prettiest beaches in the world, and it's not close.
Okay, fair enough.
Outdoor Finance agrees, and he's never even been.
Okay.
I'll shout out Seth.
Uh, let us get into the closing numbers for the week. And you know what that means? While I pull up the screen, that gives you time to shout out anything you want.
Well, I guess right now my big thing that I'm vamping, as always, is marketplace.com. Come join your fellow retail investors, make better investing decisions together, and you know what? Find a niche of the stock market that suits and interests you, and meet other people that it interests too. Build your synthetic ETF, and again, start investing better together.
Okay, I'm pulling it up. And
I timed that perfectly.
so before I even get into the closing numbers, do you see the big headline there? Yahoo Finance is using the acronym, the ICYM, in case you missed it.
Mm-hmm.
TD,
Yeah,
Toronto Dominion.
I saw you tweeted that out. I got to say, it was fairly recent that I
Toronto,
learned that TD stood for Toronto Dominion. I never put any thought into it.
okay, involved in drug and money laundering, journal reports alleges, and yeah, you're like you said, I tweeted that out earlier today. Um, TD Bank is in a little bit of trouble right now because of well, some money laundering going on uh, through like money laundering of basically drug money.
Yeah.
Anyways, not going to dwell on that. That was sort of one of the big stories of the day. As you can see, it still says breaking news there, or in case you missed it. But we will quickly get into the closing numbers, and then we will get into the earnings reports of this week. Tons of going on again this week on the earnings.
Oh yeah.
So let's just quickly go through the closing numbers because this is the weekly close live here on the Passive Income Podcast. And as always, I start with the TSX Toronto Stock Exchange in CAD, Canadian dollars, closing this week at 21,947. Not at the all-time high, but still floating up there pretty high and pretty close to that all-time high. Jumping over to the S&P, and now we are in USD again on yahoofinance.ca. You really have to watch the currency. Same thing, S&P 500 closing at 5,127. Not the all-time high, but really close, more or less, right?
We had a very good week across the board, except for a couple stocks we'll talk about here in just a minute.
Right, exactly. Dow Jones Industrial Average, again, not the all-time high, but closing the week at 38,675, and this is in USD. So, just really the plugging along. Here we get to the Canadian dollar. Canadian dollar not doing great. I don't know if you saw that tweet I posted today about the loonie being weak and the greenback being strong, and how it would be a great time for all my American friends to come and visit me here in Canada.
I did not see that, but
You didn't see that one, no. I should have tagged a whole bunch of all the but I would have been tagging like 100 people, right? So
I've got to get up there sometime. I mean, there is a huge FinTwit, FinX community up in Canada.
yeah,
I'd
definitely,
love to
definitely.
get up there and see some of y'all.
Y'all, you're definitely in Alabama.
Roll Tide.
Crude oil closing the week, and here we are back in USD, closing the week at around $78 a barrel. Again, nowhere near all-time highs, but still, that's just oil. Bitcoin, now we're back to CAD. Of course, Bitcoin never closes, but I do like to just sort of bring it up as we go through the numbers each week. 85,433 in Canadian dollars. Obviously, Bitcoin's had quite a bit of a roller coaster ride this past week. We will jump over to the NASDAQ. Back to USD, closing the week at 16,156. Again, not the all-time highs or anything, but just quite the week in the markets, as we'll get into more and more. Shout out to our friends across the pond in Great British Pounds, or quid, as I like to call, as everyone loves the British slang term quid.
It's a
Closing
fun
the week
word.
at 8,213. And of course, shout out to Akito, our one Japanese viewer in JPY, Japanese yen, closing the week at 38,236. And just for fun, the Canadian dollar to the euro isn't doing great either. 68 Canadian cents to the euro. So those are the closing numbers for the week. And Joseph will get into. Sorry, what are you laughing about?
Just everything going on. Just your master of transitions. I admit I was gone for 1 week, and I very much missed doing this. No hate to Tom. Tom filled the chair extremely well, but I.
Oh, you almost lost your job. I was going to invite Tom back this week, to be honest.
I was going to say I very much enjoy doing this every Friday.
Yeah, no, I appreciate you, and I appreciate you being here every Friday too. And I was just joking about Tom. Again, shout out to Tom. Great that he was here last week. So happy that he was able to fill in when you weren't not available. But yeah, no, I definitely want to keep you coming back here every week for the weekly close live.
I plan to keep going, and also while we're here, shout out to everybody who tunes in every week and watches.
Yeah, exactly.
We've been getting some great numbers, and I'm very happy. I like being here. If you're watching live, say hi in the chat.
Yeah, please do. With that said, are you ready to get into the Monday segment?
I am ready.
Okay, well, here we go. I just have to do this. And here we are on Monday. Before open on Monday, SoFi, Domino's Pizza, Phillips. Honestly, Monday was probably maybe the most boring day of the week.
I would say, which is, saying a lot when you got Domino's. I should know more about SoFi, but I don't, because SoFi is a longtime Twitter favorite stock, especially in the covered calls and options community. Actually, the one I really looked up, Domino's, the absolute kings of pizza. Sorry, Papa John's and Pizza Hut lovers, but in my opinion,
Pizza Hut, to be honest.
Well, maybe it's different in Canada. I don't know, but in my opinion, Domino's is the absolute king of pizza. Stock's up 4% on the week. They did solidly, and I apologize to everyone. I don't have my second monitor I have at home, so I've got all my notes on my phone. So if I'm looking down, that's why.
Fair enough.
They did beat EPS 358 actual over 339 expected, and again, we talk about this every single week. Earnings are great. Revenue is great. We love to see those beats. But the most important thing is, how does that future outlook look? And Domino's says that Americans are going to keep eating pizza.
Yeah. And Canadians and Europeans and Australians and everybody's going to keep eating pizza. I have no idea what Domino's looks like outside of North America. If they do they have franchises in Europe and Australia? No idea. But people are going to continue eating pizza. I think that's a given, right?
Oh, without a doubt. It's one of the best foods. I kind of looked up SoFi just to see. I don't have much analysis on SoFi. I know, of course, they're a bank. They're big with technology, San Francisco based. One thing I find interesting looking at them, they are down a little bit on the week, trending about $7 a share, which is, at least in my experience, right where they've been for a few years now. They did actually hit profitability Q4 2023, and they actually maintained that again this year. So I don't know enough about SoFi to call it a value play, but usually when we start seeing these stocks hit profitability for the first time, regularly for the first time, might be time to take a look.
Well, and they must have gotten fairly big fairly quick because I've talked about this on other episodes of the Passive Income Podcast about stadium and arena sponsorships. Isn't
Yes.
there in LA, I believe it is, like SoFi Arena or SoFi
Uh,
Stadium?
SoFi Stadium is the NFL stadium in LA. Yes.
Yeah, so after close on Monday, Paramount or anything else there, or are we just going to skip over to Tuesday?
I do kind of want to hit Paramount a little bit. I tweeted this out a little earlier. Paramount, I don't remember why. I know I wrote it down earlier, but I don't know where I did. Their CEO stepped down this week over some type of allegation. I don't remember what, but actually up until I don't know, really about 2 hours ago, 3 hours ago, maybe stock was up 20% on the week. They did drop a little bit over the last couple hours to only close up about 8% on the week. Only.
Only, yeah.
But actually, yeah, their earnings report was nothing to sneeze at, which is kind of surprising considering how other similar streaming or streamers have done over the last while. 62 cents actual over 36 cents expected. I guess people are really liking Paramount Plus.
Right.
And that's all I got on the closing.
Like I said, Monday was probably the most boring day of the week, so let's just keep moving along here. Tuesday, a lot of things going on here. Before open, PayPal, Lilly, 3M, McDonald's, Coca-Cola, Sirius XM. After close, we could get into Amazon, AMD, Starbucks, Pinterest. So,
let's start right there at the top, PayPal. One of the best and probably the best publicly traded payments company in the world, in my opinion. PayPal does a lot of things that a lot of other people can't and a lot of other people won't, which makes them a pretty cool company overall. Stock's up about 2.5% on the week. They did beat earnings, or no, they missed earnings, excuse me. $1.08 actual over $1.14 expected. What kind of keeps pushing them up, though, is online retail ain't going anywhere. Online retail is a growing market in terms of both dollars and orders every single year, and it doesn't look like it's going to slow down. If anything, COVID really accelerated that.
right.
So, again, the future looks bright for PayPal, especially as they've also, in my experience, been more open to like the crypto market than a lot of their other competitors have been, which opens up a whole new ball game when we start talking about their ability to leverage their user base and find new customers.
And PayPal's established now, right? Like PayPal's been around for well over 15 years. So, that's I think another big part of it, right? Like we are now very accustomed to being able to pay for things on the internet, whether it's through something like PayPal or just buying something on Amazon, which we're going to talk about here very soon.
Very soon.
But yeah, so PayPal has that advantage of sort of being first in wins. Like they were the first one to be on the internet, like I said, 15 plus years ago, offering, hey, you have a small business, you can accept Visa payments through us without having to set up anything through Visa, right?
Oh yeah, and even small business tools that I've used a little on my own, their small business suite that you just pay for with transaction fees, from invoicing to payments, to even check out if you have like an online store. It's amazing. It's honestly second to none.
Next one there on. Do you want to get into Lilly or skip over to 3M, McDonald's, Coca-Cola? Where are you going next? You tell me.
I will hit Eli Lilly here because, ladies and gentlemen, we have entered the dividend portion of the weekly close, because these are some of, I think, everybody's favorite dividend stocks. Really, we got a group of blue chips here, Dave. In my opinion, at least. Warren Buffett agrees on one of them. But that said, Eli Lilly, for anybody who doesn't know at home, they are a primarily insulin manufacturer, healthcare stock. Stock's up about 1% on the week. They did beat earnings, 258 actual over 246 expected. You're going to hear me say this about 3 times in a row now. They're a blue chip. They're very established. They're in a lot of markets. They're going to make a lot of money. They're going to pay a dividend, and they're going to go about their day. That's really all. I hate to say it, but that's really all there is to it. You have a healthcare conglomerate that massive. It's like what Dave and I, you and I have talked about with the Canadian banks. They're going to make a bunch of money. They're going to report. They're going to pay a dividend, and we're all going to go home.
Right. Now, speaking of dividends, did I see this week? 3M has cut their dividend.
Let's see here. Stock's up 5% on the week, so I doubt it. I did not see that if you did. They did beat earnings pretty solidly, $2.39 actual over $1.96 expected. Now I'm curious though. Let's give that a quick Google.
Yeah, maybe I was looking at something else this week, but I thought I saw that 3M had cut their dividend. And they were like a dividend king. They had been increasing their dividend for like 63 years or something.
Let's see here. When is this article dated? No, yeah, you are right. 3M cut their dividend. Stock still went up anyway. Yeah, they were a dividend aristocrat. They had 25 plus years. They beat earnings. Wow, no. Oh, it's because they spun off their healthcare division. But yeah, you are right.
Honestly, I did not even know 3M had a healthcare division. I thought they just sold like tape and glue and
I was going to say office supplies, but we're right there together. No, I did not know they did either.
Okay, now I want a Big Mac.
You can
simply
get a Big
because
Mac.
I see those golden arches, and when I see the golden arches, I want a Big Mac.
See, I'm much more of a quarter pounder guy, but well, we can agree to disagree on this one. McDonald's stock,
the quarter pounder is my side. I have the Big Mac as my main, and the quarter pounder is a side.
My side is all the sweet tea my body will let me intake, and fries, of course. But that said, McDonald's down about 2% on the week, 270 actual over 254 expected. I mean, come on, guys, it's McDonald's. Yeah. You can deny it all you want, but we've all probably been at least once in the last week.
Well, no, it's been more than a week since I've been there, but you're right. Like, probably extend that out to a month, and everybody's been there in the last month.
For
like
sure.
Everybody
it's on
the planet, right? Like almost everybody.
The sad thing is, you're really not wrong. McDonald's, I know it doesn't have I think Subway is the largest in terms of sheer number of locations, but branding around the world, McDonald's is the king, and it's not close. Yeah.
And speaking of branding around the world, right there as well, Coca-Cola, which you can get at McDonald's in most countries anyway. I'm sure I'm guessing it's the same in the U.S. it is here in Canada, that it's Coca-Cola in the McDonald's. Coca-Cola, like you said, Warren Buffett favored. Doesn't Warren Buffett make $820 million in dividends every quarter or something from?
It's something. It's something ridiculous because Coca-Cola, despite being about a $60 stock, which again, it's kind of been where it's been at for a while, does tout about a 3% dividend. Stock's up 1.5% on the week almost. Did beat earnings, 72 cents actual over 65 cents expected. I mean, when I look at these two stocks, I think McDonald's and Coke very similar. I mean, come on. What more can they do?
Before open, SiriusXM, I know we're tight on time tonight. You have to get going right at 6:30 or 5:30 there in Alabama. I don't know if you want to touch on SiriusXM before open or move right into Amazon and AMD and Starbucks and Pinterest after close on Tuesday.
I'll be fully honest with you, Dave. Right now is when I'm learning for the first time that SiriusXM is publicly traded. I did not know that.
Yeah, it's okay. Well, we'll come back in 3 months and we'll talk about SiriusXM.
All I know about SiriusXM is I bought my car in 2019, and they still call me once a month asking if I want to activate my subscription.
Okay, fair enough. Let's get into Amazon and the after close on Tuesday.
Amazon stock's up 3.5% on the week. Did beat earnings, 98 cents a share actual over 78 cents a share expected. One thing to kind of watch in the future with Amazon, I would say this is a pretty standard earnings call. AWS is killing it. What more is there to say? Amazon as an online retailer is killing it. what else is there to say? But one thing that's interesting with Amazon is, and I said this in a tweet or in a reply to one of your tweets, it's heavily expected that Amazon is going to do a dividend at some point.
Yeah.
They're like the largest. If I read a stat, they're like the largest company in the S&P 500 to not be paying a dividend yet, if I remember correctly.
Well, and I think I think the pressures might be a little bit on them now that Google has announced a dividend just this past week or two. A
And
few months ago or a few weeks ago, Meta,
yep.
Facebook, Instagram has announced a dividend. Just recently, Apple increased their dividend, right? So Amazon is sort of in that, the the Bank Seven as they're
Mm-hmm.
called, and it, is the pressure on Amazon to start paying a dividend at some point?
I feel like it has to be. I mean, they've got a very. I'm a firm believer in Amazon should be the second most valuable company in the world, right behind Microsoft. They might, maybe even some days, I feel like they can edge out Microsoft. I mean, their balance sheet is tight and it is strong. I feel like they probably could. The question is more of a when than an if. And
Right.
we're not talking a lot. It's probably like 20 cents a share, 25 cents a share, maybe, which right in line with Apple, Meta, and Google. But hey, better than nothing.
Yeah, yeah. Well, and I've made this comment several times. I don't know if I don't think I've ever tweeted it, but just to in real life to my friends is like, it seems that at some point Amazon is gonna start delivering you packages, and they're just gonna say, "Oh yeah, you were about to order this in 2 hours time," right? Like,
It's like they know.
yeah, that's what I mean, right? Like, here's your package that you're gonna order 2 or 3 hours from now.
They heard it. They heard it with your Alexa. I guess then moving on. I actually don't have anything written down for AMD, even though I probably should. But I am forever fascinated by Supermicro Computer. Stock's up 180% year to date, up I think like 5% this week. No, down 3% this week. Still 180% year to date. Absolutely ridiculous. And again, they did solidly beat earnings, 665 a share actual over 584 a share expected. I'm not a tech guy, so I can't fully explain to you what Supermicro Computers Inc. does, but I know it has something to do with chips, and NVIDIA buys a lot of the hardware they use from Supermicro or
Right.
something of that sort. There's somebody in the chat right now can
It
explain
knows more
AI
than
and
we do about
computers.
these.
Oh, for sure. And I hate to say it, it is not a high bar, at least if I am.
Yeah,
I can't speak for Dave. Dave, you surprise me sometimes.
I try. Starbucks. Starbucks
Quick,
had sort of a weird week, right? Like,
we got to
earnings,
have a moment of silence for all the Starbucks shareholders.
yeah, so earnings weren't what was expected.
Oh,
Stock, if I'm correct, the stock went down on Tuesday because of that. You're
it
trying to make me remember
collapsed.
from like 3 full days ago, man. It's hard. It's tough.
Stock's down. Let's see here, 16.5% this week. Dropped more than 15% immediately after earnings. Crawled back a little before dropping again. So the big thing with Starbucks right now is they did. I mean, 68 a share actual, over 79 cents a share expected. I mean, they were kind of right there. That's not a big earnings miss at all. Same with revenue. I don't have the exact numbers written down, but it was another very slight miss. The big concern with Starbucks was their year over year, same store revenue was down drastically.
Right.
And when kind of, asked, what do you guys plan to do to fix that? The CEO, whose name actually I do have written down, God, I'm going to murder this, Laxman Narasimhan. I liked Howard Schultz
Perfect.
better. It was much easier to say. He basically said, and investors didn't like that.
Yeah. It is a tough one
So,
to explain. Like, obviously, people still go to Starbucks every day. The drive-through is still. Why is he barking? I don't know. I apologize. I'm sorry.
there
Okay.
are much worse sounds to deal with.
Apparently, he is really upset about what happened with Starbucks this week.
Maybe he's a Pup Cup fan. My dogs are very big Pup Cup fans.
Yeah, that could be it. That could be it. The rest of Oh my goodness, we're still on Tuesday, buddy.
I know.
Pinterest, Caesars, Root, anything of interest, or are we just going to skip over to Wednesday to keep this moving along?
I'll keep Pinterest really quick because Pinterest keeps being like my favorite social media stock. By the way, every Snapchat shareholder, I owe you a formal apology. That will come next week. Yeah, 20 cents a share actual over 13 cents a share expected. Stock's up 17.5% on the week almost, or 17.25%. Pinterest keeps surprising everybody. Like everything they do, they just win. Like they are, again, not financial advice, maybe one of the best poised social media stocks for the next 5-10 years. Because whatever they're doing, management is killing it.
Yeah, I agree that. And with that said, this might be your perfect timing to get your dig in at Fiverr for the week.
Oh, okay. That actually is a great time. Let's see here. I do not know how Fiverr did this week, but I'm willing to bet it was bad. Again, I love Fiverr so much. It's such a good company. It's such a good business model. It should have never gone public. It's up 4% or 3.5% on the week, excuse me. Ooh, actually, no, Dave, even better. Next week, I get to talk about Fiverr earnings. So I'll hold my tongue.
Okay, fair enough. Fair enough. I've skipped the graphic over to Wednesday. A lot going on. Wednesday before open, Pfizer, CVS, Barrick Gold, MasterCard, Norwegian, Kraft Heinz, Estee Lauder, Marriott, after close, Qualcomm,
God.
Etsy. So much here on Wednesday.
We don't stop, Dave.
Okay, where do you want to start?
I say at this point, money never sleeps, and neither do we. I'll cop hits. Pfizer up like, let's see here, 9.5% on the week. Solidly beat earnings, 82 cents a share actual or 52 cents a share expected. Kind of interesting. They're, if I remember correctly, they got a lot of momentum right now. Of course, Pfizer, one of the big COVID-19 vaccines, but that was kind of their main product there for a while. I don't want to say their only, but kind of their main, kind of like Moderna. In contrast, that was basically their only real product in the market. Pfizer's got some, I didn't write down exactly what. I will read you exactly what I wrote down. Pfizer's got some great stuff in the pipeline, some medicine either on its way to approval or already in late stages of approval, and the future looks bright. I write these notes day by day, so I don't remember what Wednesday morning me was talking about.
Yeah.
But that said, MasterCard, another one. MasterCard, I love MasterCard's business model. Same with Visa. I mean, we're talking two sides of the same coin. Every time you swipe that MasterCard, they get a payment. That is their business model. They make the cards, and that is all they do. And you know what?
Swipe. Don't you just tap your card? Just tap.
So, they get paid no matter what. Even if you enter the information in online, they get paid.
Right.
Which is actually, I mean, I can talk about this. Stripe Sessions last week. One of the big things, several different payment companies there, and one of the big things they were talking about was integrating direct ACH payments. So they got to stop paying that kickback to MasterCard and Visa. That's how powerful these companies are, MasterCard and Visa. They've got other companies planning around them.
Yeah.
But yeah, as long as spending across the world is up, I say with the stock down 4% this week, they slightly beat earnings, but I mean, again, as long as spending is up, which it has been over the past, especially 4 or 5 years, they win. They always win.
Yeah, it's tough for both Visa and MasterCard not to win. Well, especially when you're charging 21% interest, which is almost, to me, feels like, isn't that like?
Wait. What are you talking about? Interest?
Oh yeah, sure. Pay your credit card every month.
No. MasterCard is not the bank. They just make the card.
Yeah. Okay.
They get, they get like when you swipe, if you swipe, every time you swipe your card, they get like 2% of the gross amount. MasterCard nor Visa are banks in any way. They just make the card. They're not the credit company or the bank behind it.
Well, yeah, and that's another interesting thing that's been kind of floating around social media the last few weeks is like, what is MasterCard and what is Visa? Like, what do they actually do? And like, well, you just enter into an agreement with them that you're going to pay off this card, but you're not even entering into that agreement with them. You're entering into that agreement with whatever bank it's being processed through, right?
Right there. Spot on. Yes.
Yeah. So, yeah, I don't know. It's a really, I guess, odd or funny scenario, but it's obviously works extremely well for both Visa and MasterCard.
Amen to that. And I should really have more to say about Kraft Heinz, another Oracle of Omaha company, but I really don't. But I do kind of want to hit Qualcomm, another company very prevalent in the AI space right now.
Whoa, whoa,
And
whoa. You're already jumping to after Wednesday. I still wanted
I am.
anything
Oh,
on
my bad.
CBS.
Surprisingly, no, actually. I didn't realize they reported this week. I missed them entirely.
Okay, Barrick Gold, big Canadian gold company.
I've honestly never heard of them. If you have some, please, I would love to hear.
I did not even realize that they were on this graphic until right now, so my apologies.
Not just me.
At least I've heard of them before, man.
You got me on that one.
Okay, we'll skip over to Qualcomm then if we're done with before open on Wednesday.
Oh, see, I am, yeah. Qualcomm, up about 10% on the week. Another one of those big AI companies. They did beat EPS 244 a share actual over 217 a share expected. I mean, let's just call it like it is. You put AI in your name right now and your stock goes up. It's
Just
a
keep
huge
saying
buzzword.
AI enough times. We actually maybe even should just say artificial intelligence and AI and AI and AI enough times in this podcast, and YouTube will push this out to 1 million people, and
There we go.
then I can
Yeah.
actually afford to pay you that 10 Canadian dollars that I keep promising you.
The weekly close on the Passive Income podcast, it's all AI. Dave and I aren't real. We're AI. Sub for more AI content.
Yeah. We're definitely real people.
Hey, if you don't believe us, our hands look right.
Yeah, exactly.
That's my favorite AI thing. I don't understand why hands are hard, but I think it's very funny.
Yeah, I agree 100%. I don't understand why either, but it's like almost like, oh, that's the tell, right? Like, oh, the hands don't look right, that's AI. Oh, the hands do look right, that's actually a real picture or something or whatever, right?
It's weird, but yeah, no, I 1000% agree. I mean, I don't have to agree. You're just saying a fact. Yeah, and some of this AI art's getting pretty good.
Yeah, agreed. Where are we? What are we doing?
We went through Qualcomm. Actually, let me give a quick high level of Etsy because I'm an Etsy fan as a customer. I don't know much about their stock. Okay, down 11% on the week, down 25% year to date. They did. I mean, we'll call it a hit on earnings. 49 cents a share expected, 48 cents a share actual. Yeah. I mean, apparently, a lot of their concerning moving forward is Etsy's consumer discretionary. Everything they have on their consumer discretionary. We look forward, at least here in the U.S., the outlook, especially for the economic situation, is a little hazy. And when the economy goes bad, what's the first thing to go? Consumer discretionary.
Yeah. Okay, fair enough. Are we moving on to Thursday?
That was all I had for Wednesday. Yes, sir.
Before open, Canadian Natural Resources, CNQ, Peloton. Is Peloton going to zero? Moderna, we just talked about Pfizer there a few minutes ago. Wayfair, a whole lot. Yeah, I don't know. Where do you want to begin on before open on Thursday?
I do want to start on Novo Nordisk. For anyone at home, you've heard of Novo Nordisk, whether you realize it or not. Dave, say it with me. Ozempic.
Oh, that thing. Oh, don't even.
That thing that's taking. I don't know. Is Ozempic like all over the? Let me start here. Quick Canadian question. Do you have like medicine ads on TV?
I haven't watched a TV in years because I cut the cord. I just have I used to have Netflix and then I canceled that and I only have Prime Video now just so I have I can get delivery next day. Going back to Amazon, right?
I was gonna say, well, I mean, even on like YouTube and things, I still get them. Ask your doctor about insert medication here.
Yeah, I guess we do get a few of those types of ads, but probably again, the YouTube algorithm is not feeding me those ads.
Lately, actually, just kind of, hey, while we're live on YouTube here, whoever's the CEO of YouTube now, I know it's not Susan anymore. These last couple weeks, all my YouTube ads have been in Spanish. I don't speak Spanish. I don't know what you're advertising. But either way, that said, Novo Nordisk, they've kind of been a fun one to watch because, of course, Ozempic took the world by storm, and a lot of the hype has died down. But in this earnings call, they did beat earnings, 80 cents a share actual over 74 cents a share expected. We kind of learned that, while the hype may be over in the general public, Ozempic sales are still pretty high.
Yeah. Okay.
I will-
Peloton.
Yeah,
Is
Peloton.
Peloton going to zero?
Well, maybe we've all learned that strapping an iPad to an exercise bike was not a great business model.
Why not?
Peloton. See, I know their CEO stepped down and they laid off. What was it? 15% of their total staff, just due to, economic issues. Stock's actually up 7.3% in the last week. Currently trading about $3.42 a share. They are the definition of a penny stock, but what's outside of stock price, stock price only tells so much. We got to look at the underlying financials. Peloton lost 45 cents a share last quarter.
Yikes.
They have not been profitable in a long time, if they've ever even been profitable at all. Stocks down, let's see here. They're up 7% this week, down 16% in the last month, 19% in the last 3 months, 42.5% year to date, 60% in the last year, and 87.7% since IPO. Peloton ain't looking good. Like, am I going to say it's going to go to zero? Maybe.
Canadian Natural Resources. I'm going to do this. Yeah, so I've just jumped over to Yahoo Finance here. And, I've got so many tabs open, I don't even know what I'm doing.
I know that feeling all too well.
So Canadian Natural Resources, ticker symbol CNQ, misses on analyst expectations. Canadian Natural Resources misses first quarter profit estimates on lower sales and pricing. Couple of great responses here. Dividend John. Wall Street doesn't seem concerned. Stock holding up. I snagged more. 2-to-1 share split just announced. So CNQ, again, one of the absolute biggest oil and gas producers in North America, definitely obviously in Canada, but in North America as well. So, let us know in the chat what you think about CNQ, Canadian Natural Resources, and that's we're just going to kind of leave it at that, I guess, right? And we'll skip back over to Thursday after close, where we get into Apple, Coinbase, DraftKings, and Expedia, and anything else you'd like to talk about there.
Yeah, if we're going to after close, the main one I really wanted to hit, everyone's favorite, Mr. Tim Cook, Apple.
Tim Apple.
Tim Apple. Stocks killed it this week. I don't even know. 8% on the week. Big kind of news. iPhone sales dropped 10% year over year, which is kind of concerning in my opinion, because that's kind of their main thing. Like, the iPhone is the main thing that drives Apple's revenue year over year. And we've seen some serious concerns about the ongoing iPhone success, especially in international markets, especially in China. So that is something interesting to watch. And now we have the year over year data to prove it. But why is the stock up if their main product isn't, doing as well? Apple raised their dividend by 25%. Now, instead of being 20 cents a share quarterly, it is 25 cents a share quarterly. And they are doing a $110 billion stock buyback program over the next year.
Wow.
Which is more than the GDP of several smaller countries. I think I saw somebody post, and I am sorry to all the people of Costa Rica if I'm incorrect on this, but somebody posted Apple's buyback is bigger than the GDP of Costa Rica, which is just ridiculous.
Yeah.
How do you,
Quick personal question. Do you have an iPhone or an Android?
This is an iPhone.
This is an Android.
And this that I'm talking to you on is a Mac.
Okay. And my laptop
he's
is a um, Microsoft Asus or whatever.
I will say I'm very happy with this Mac. I've had it for about 2 or 3 years now. I don't think I'm getting another one.
Fair enough.
No hate, great computer. I've been very happy with it. It's just my what I do for work is moving in a way I more so need a Windows.
Yeah, fair enough.
Move back.
Moving on from Apple, the next
Yep.
big name there is Coinbase.
Yes,
A lot has gone on with crypto this past week or past 2 weeks, and any
past
thoughts
lifetime.
on Coinbase?
Coinbase is an interesting one because they like shattered EPS expectations. $1.65 a share actual, over 98 cents a share expected. Stock is down actually 2.5% today. Only about 0.5% on the week though. 12% on the month, but is actually up 30% year to date, which is super interesting. I mean, Coinbase's stock basically, I mean, it's like the Bitcoin price chart. It's up, it's down,
Yeah.
it's up, it's down, which is, and honestly, if you ask Coinbase management, they don't really care.
No,
like
they're
actually,
going to say they're like that makes sense. They're more or less following Bitcoin. All of crypto follows Bitcoin.
oh,
right?
without a doubt, yes. Yeah, Bitcoin goes down, Coinbase's profitability goes down, Bitcoin goes up, Coinbase's profitability goes up. But even like this morning, so one of their senior executives, I didn't write down who it was, but I know it wasn't the CEO, commented that their stock's down, just another day in crypto.
Yeah.
They believe they're doing everything right, and I'll give them this. They do have at least from the outside looking in, from what I've seen, a very strong balance sheet. So if you can ride out the volatility, I mean,
that was the exact word I was about to use. Like just crypto, Bitcoin especially, is so volatile, right? Like a couple weeks ago, it was at 70 something thousand, then it goes to 58,000 or 57, and I know I showed the numbers there earlier in Canadian dollars. If we still have time, we'll get to Coin Market Cap and show the numbers in USD. But so volatile, just up and down, right? By tens of thousands, well, by thousands of dollars every day, or tens of thousands of dollars weekly, which is, can you imagine investing in a stock like that?
Absolutely ridiculous. But I mean, I do want to preface real quick saying I'm not an advisor. Dave's not an advisor. I've thrown out a lot of stock tips today and a lot of value investing, undervalued. Not financial advice.
Definitely not financial advice. We're just two guys having a conversation, just two buddies talking every Friday afternoon on the Weekly Close Live, seeing what's going on in the markets this week, right?
Amen for that.
Anything more from Thursday, DraftKings?
I want to hit DraftKings real quick because this was their Q1 2024 earnings call, which means that it included the Super Bowl.
Interesting.
And wow, every Wall Street analyst out there, you undervalued the Super Bowl big time. Stock's up 1% on the week. The big thing was expected EPS was negative 28 cents a share, which is a little rough. Good things DraftKings was profitable, coming in at 3 cents a share. Americans love sports betting. I can tell you in North Carolina, we just got DraftKings a couple weeks back. I don't know if it's legal in all 50 states yet, but if it's not, it is very, very close. And Americans love to gamble, apparently.
Especially on football, especially on the Super Bowl.
Yes. Football, football and basketball are the two biggest by far. After that, it's a huge drop. But still, I even saw prop bets for the NFL draft.
Yeah, I think we have DraftKings here in Canada. I know we have several different of these sports betting websites that are now more or less they are legal, right? Whereas, when I was growing up, gambling and betting was more or less illegal. There were a few legal entities, obviously, like, the government-run lotteries and those types of things. But yeah, nowadays it seems like there's just endless amounts of these websites like DraftKings and others. And honestly, I don't even know how many there are here that are readily available in Canada, because thankfully I've kind of stopped betting on sports because it's fun to win, but it's not so fun to lose.
I mean, I can also say I've never put a penny into it, and I don't intend to, but
Yeah, I've never
keep it that way.
done any online sports betting. It's always been just like either like, just betting with, buddies. Hey, my team's going to win tonight, bet $5 or $10 or whatever, or um, other types of, there was another one here. Again, this was a government run. It was called, it still exists, called ProLine, where you could bet on sports as well. And that's been around for 25, 30 years here. I don't know how long. It's been around a long time. Anything more from Thursday? Or are we going to get moving into Friday? I know we're getting tight on time here. We've got about 15 minutes left max. So
I am ready to get moving on to Friday.
Let's do it, because I know there's a little bit more to talk about on Friday. Did I get that come up? Yeah, there we go.
Yep, that is Friday.
Hershey, so, XBO Logistics, Magna International, some more big names.
I'll say, so the only one I hear that you and I have talked about this, the only one I've really heard of is Hershey's, who actually beat EPS, $3.07 a share, over $2.79 expected. Stock actually is pushing $200 a share, up almost 6% over the last week. But in the interest of the YouTube algorithm and appeasing the man, the YouTube god,
Mr. Beast.
Feastables. Yeah, you gotta go buy Feastables.
Please send us Feastables, and we will never talk about Hershey's again.
We'll strike it from the record.
So somebody get this video to Jimmy Beast, to Jimmy Donaldson, Mr. Beast, and let him know that we will never talk about Hershey's ever again on the Weekly Close Live, as long as we can get some Feastables.
I'm okay with that, Trey. I'm very okay. I'm still cut when you send it to him. Cut this part out. I am yet to try a Feastable bar.
So here's the thing: they're not officially available in Canada yet. I'm sure at some point. I know they're having supply chain issues. The price, like cocoa, is like crazy right now, and so when you do see them here in Canada, they're like, $16 for one chocolate bar, and you're like, no, I'm not going to pay $16 for a chocolate bar, right?
They're everywhere by me. Gas stations, Walmart, Target, Aldi, I think. Everywhere.
So what's going on here is, like, obviously they're, these small stores are buying them on Amazon, or where, again, going back to Amazon, right? And then just trying to make up profit by, obviously they have to mark them up to make a profit after, their delivery costs and everything. So it's crazy that they're, and I do know eventually, once they have the supply chain issues figured out and the price of cocoa becomes more realistic again and everything like that, I'm sure, Jimmy is smart enough to know to have them in Canada and other, obviously, countries, Great Britain and Australia and wherever else, right? Like, he's known globally.
Oh, yeah. But yeah, and Dave, I think you had one more you wanted to talk about.
Yeah, I wanted to touch on Magna International, and it was kind of funny. Before we went live, you said you'd never heard of it before, and I said, well, I can guarantee you have products of theirs. And you were like, what? What do you mean?
I believe you. Oh,
and
wow.
I said, yeah, basically, if you own a car, you have parts from Magna. Well, that's what they do. And actually, right here in town, there's one of their plants here, Magna International. They make parts for pretty much every single make and model of automobile. So whether you have a Chevy, a Ford, a Honda, Toyota, doesn't matter. Hyundai, like you name it. Obviously, I'm sure Tesla is outside this realm right now, but down the road, they will probably be making parts for Teslas as well. And so basically, if you have a car or a truck or any type of motor vehicle, odds are extremely good you have parts from Magna International.
Today I learned. I never knew.
Yeah, and honestly,
I'm over here.
I don't know what their earnings call were like this week. I don't know if they were up, down, missed.
They're actually pretty down. Like over the last year to date, 20%. year over year, 10%, down 15%, 5 years, 4%, 3.5% on the day, 6% on the week, 12% on the month. You got to go all the way back to, the what? 24. They're still at basically the same price level now that they've been at since 2014.
I find
They've
that
been
extremely
pretty
surprising,
flat.
actually. I did not know that. I
Well,
would have thought that they would have been doing better because, again, if you have a car, you have parts from this company, guaranteed.
Well, I mean, we can write it up to at least this. They pay a 3.85% dividend. That's a level we generally see with a company you'd expect to be pretty flat.
Right.
Because so that means what you're saying makes sense. They did slightly miss earnings. $1.25 expected, $1.08 actual. Yeah, that's pretty minor.
Sure.
But I mean, God, at an almost 4% dividend yield, they're doing something right.
And I said earlier this week, remind me to talk about Tim Hortons.
Oh yeah, right. Well, what did I tell you? I've learned if there's one thing I know about Canadians, I don't have to remind you, but talk about Tim's. You'll bring it up yourself.
That's right. So, Restaurant Brands International, QSR. So, Tim Hortons, Burger King, and a few other brands. Basically, Restaurant Brands International first quarter 2024 earnings beats expectations. Restaurant Brands Q1 earnings and revenue top estimates, sort of all the headlines. I'm just kind of quickly going through this. We don't need to get into the numbers. Restaurant Brands International Q1 earnings. Oh, if you want to get there to the entire
we have
transcript, I'm not gonna read that to you.
This is so off topic, but I see your account in the top right, and it's so weird to think of you as David.
Yeah. Okay, fair enough. So yeah, and again, we're back into Canadian dollars. So this is 103.74 Canadian CAD per share. But again, Restaurant Brands International really doing well this week. Actually, Anthony had an incredible tweet sort of comparing the earnings calls from QSR and McDonald's, how basically more or less his tweet summarize his tweet, it was like QSR won the quarter. And again, no hate to McDonald's because McDonald's is amazing as well. So as a company, and like I said, as well, we all eat there all the time, right? So
yeah, I've got their stock pulled up. They're on a nice little run this week.
And one more thing before because I know again you're tight on time. We'll get over to CoinMarketCap here and take a quick look at some crypto. Again, obviously cryptocurrency is 24/7. Bitcoin never closes. Currently, right now, this is back. We're in USD. Bitcoin at 62,815. Ethereum at 3,109. Solana at 143. XRP. Come on, XRP. XR, please. That's what it should be called. XR, please do something. Oh man, so that's sort of where we've been this week in the markets. And my dog is whining like crazy. I don't know why.
I was going to say, sounds like something's going on.
Yeah, I don't even know what he's going on about, to be honest. So anyways, we did it. We got in under the time that you needed to be done by. We went through that entire week. Another great week in the, in the markets. Another roller coaster. Every week is a roller coaster in the markets, right? That
never stops.
Yeah. So, any closing thoughts before we sign off?
Hey, just as always, thank you all so much for tuning in. I know we've gotten through most of the Mag 7 this week and last, but tune in next week. That's still going to be another fun one.
Guaranteed, yeah. I'm not even sure what's up next week, but we'll... As shout out to Derry again, as Derry gives me or I borrow from him every morning, we'll find out what's up for next week.
Let's see. Disney. Well, there's your preview. Disney next week. We're going to talk about Disney.
Mickey Mouse. Mickey and Minnie. Pluto and the gang.
The mouse of the hour.
Awesome. Well, with that said, I'm going to let you get going. I appreciate your time. I'm going to go and see what the heck is wrong with my dog. And we'll reconvene again next week, every Friday afternoon here on the Weekly Close Live on the Passive Income Podcast.
Yep. Thank you all for watching. We'll see you next week.
Bark one more time before we end, buddy.